In an historic landslide win, Claudia Sheinbaum has been elected as Mexico's first woman president. Preliminary results show the 61-year-old former mayor of Mexico City winning between 58 and 60% of the vote in Sunday's election. Ms. Sheinbaum will replace her mentor, outgoing President Manuel López Obrador, on the 1st of October. A former energy scientist, she has promised continuity, saying that she will continue to build on the advances made by Mr. López Obrador, further building on the welfare programs which have made the outgoing president very popular. In her victory speech, Ms. Sheinbaum also thanked her rival, Galvez, who was considered victory. Prior to running for president, Ms. Sheinbaum was a mayor of Mexico City, one of the most influential political positions in the country, and one that is seen as paving the way for the presidency. Let's bring in global affairs analyst Uria Francelli. He joins us from Brazil. Good to have you join us.
Hi, Precious. Thank you for having me.
So how significant is Claudia Sheinbaum's victory, especially as a woman, considering that Mexico is known for its traditional values because of its Roman Catholic population?
Well, nearly 100 million voters, including an unprecedented number of first-time voters, participated in what turned out to be Mexico's largest ever elections. And these elections span from the presidential race to 628 legislative seats, 9 governorships, and over 19,000 local positions. The economic discussions mainly revolved around handling fiscal deficits and implications of nearshoring, as business have been relocating operations from China to Mexico. And central to these debates were also the ongoing violence and the pervasive influence of organized crime, with candidates proposing various strategies to boost safety and reduce the power of cartels. The election was particularly historic as it resulted in Claudia becoming the first ever female president, bringing gender and equality issues into the spotlight. The election of Mexico's first ever female president is a groundbreaking moment for gender equality in a political landscape that's been traditionally dominated by men. This historic win isn't just about a shift in leadership, it's a transformative movement, a moment that might encourage more women to step up, take on leadership roles, and get involved in politics. Having a woman at the helm could also mean a stronger focus on issues that hit close to home for many women, like gender equality, family policies, and domestic violence, potentially leading to policies that are more inclusive and thoughtful. Beyond policy, this election could really shift how society sees the role and capabilities of women, breaking down old stereotypes and opening up more high-profile opportunities across different sectors. So it's clear that electing the first female president is much more than a political win. It's a significant cultural and social milestone that could reshape public policy and how Mexico operates in Mexico. And we should all, even in Nigeria and in Brazil, challenge this outdated male chauvinism that has held back so many and affirm that women belong in politics, not as tokens, but as transformative leaders.
Mm. And interesting, you mentioned that because, you know, while she was speaking, I mean, you talked about the issues around security, but while she was speaking, she talked about fixing security. And we know that this election was the most violent in Mexico's modern history. We had about 38 candidates murdered. And that's an indication of the massive security problem in Mexico. What sort of investment we should have to make, and how easy will it be for her to tackle that challenge?
Well, Precious, first she has to start on dealing with the Mexican cartels, which is something that needs a multidimensional approach. So first up, the new government has to look back and figure out what has been working. So during Andrés Manuel López Obrador, which Mexicans call AMLO, during his time, they set up a National Guard in 2019 through a constitutional reform, aiming to blend policy forces with military discipline to better tackle crime, particularly organized crime. And this reform brought together the military, federal police, and navy. But it's clear that this move didn't hit the mark as expected. Now there is a real need for the incoming president, Claudia, to rethink how the armed forces are used in the fight against cartels, maybe shifting the focus towards more community-centered strategies and dialing down the militarization. Maybe it could help bring down the violence. The past strategy of leaning heavily on social programs and to attack the roots of violence also fell short of truly cutting down crime levels. On top of that, implementing structural and legal reforms is critical, and Mexico needs stronger protection programs for witnesses and judges who might face retaliation from these cartels as well.
So we've also seen a strain on U.S.-Mexico relations, and that's because, largely because of the huge flows of U.S.-bound migrants crossing Mexico, and then there's also the drug-related issue. Do you think that we're going to see an improvement in relations, under her leadership?
There needs to be one, and we can never talk about fixing this problem of drug cartels and fighting crime if we don't take an international approach to it. So she will need to work very closely with the American intelligence. Even when we look at other countries in South America, for example, like we saw in Ecuador earlier this year, when there was a shift in Colombia and Peru's and even Mexico's politics, it's evident that combating drug trafficking, it isn't something that any country could handle alone. So effective combat against drug trafficking demands beefed up international cooperation. For Mexico, this means working closely with the United States to ramp up intelligence sharing, track the financial movements of cartels, and carry out joint operations against drug trafficking. And this kind of collaborative effort is essential if we're going to see any real progress. So it's very important that she focuses on building bridges with the U.S. and not distancing herself like her previous president did.
Following developments in that country, thank you so much for talking to us. Always a pleasure to have you on. Uria Francelli, International Affairs Analyst.
Thank you. It's always nice to be here.